We tap our trees. I collect it with our truck, and then we have that sugar shack you were in. So that's pretty much all within 1 square mile of the sugar house. In the spring, you tap a tree. Basically, you put a hole in a tree and you put a little stem in there, and then you collect the sap that comes out, and then you boil it, and you keep boiling it until it's down to thick enough to be syrup. Usually it takes about 30 to 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup.
So ideally you want your nights to be freezing, so below 30, and your days to be kind of 45 or higher. So you're thawing out, freezing, you're thawing out, freezing every day. And that kind of lets the sap flow, kind of builds the pressure, and kind of need those exact days. This year was hard because when it finally did warm up, it didn't freeze back down again.
Typically, it's like 4 to 6 weeks. I think this year it was like 3 to 4 weeks tops. I've never really tallied how much sap I collect in a whole year, but I normally make between 80 gallons and 100 gallons of syrup. And this year I think I'm going to end up with like 35 or 40. Most of the syrup I sell privately to family and friends and neighbors around town. Elm City is my only commercial customer at the moment, and I brought them 300 gallons of sap last year and this year, and he also bought over the beer that they're making.
I found Wind Sugar Shack actually is from a friend of mine who worked here. They're farmers in Nelson, and they know Marty, and they put me in touch with Marty. I just reached out, and he was like, "Yeah, we can do it." And I was like, "Oh man, great! That's fantastic." I wasn't sure if, like you said, a smaller organization would be able to do something like that. But I was put in touch with him through some mutual friends. I reached out to him early in the season to inquire for that very reason. I wasn't sure. I mean, I know pretty much nothing about sugaring. So I reached out to him saying, "Hey, I'm looking to do this beer again. Do you think this would be a possibility?" He has said yes. We talked again several weeks later. And as you just mentioned, there were multiple points where he thought it was going to start running, and then it froze up again and it started running. So we weren't sure when or if that sap would come. Finally, it did thaw enough that we were able to get the 300 gallons. But he never indicated that we wouldn't be able to get it. But certainly there were points where, all right, I'm going to alter my brewing schedule because I thought I'd be getting it last week. Now we're getting it, next week. But either way, it was definitely cool.